Let me hold you tight, if only for one night. Let me keep you near. Come here, girl, to ease away your fears. It would be so nice, if only for one night. Tell you what I need is one night, one night. Oh, if only for one night, if only for one night only, one night only. That's all I have to spare. One night only, we don't have time to care. I've got one night only, one night only. Come on, big baby, come on. One night only, we only have till dawn. What's up, y'all? This is Ty. How y'all doing? That song is for Priscilla and Bobby and all they foolishness. What is up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review, what is this, season 4, episode 13 of Tyler Perry's soap opera drama comedy, The Oval. And tonight's episode is titled Back Off. Back off. And before I get into this episode, shout outs to all my lovely subscribers. We have a new subscriber who left a comment, Stephanie Coleman Deli. I hope I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, forgive me, please forgive me. And shout outs to all my other lovely subscribers that leave comments in the comment section. Folks like Shrin Jans, Lamont Simpson, Nadine Harris, Kryptonian Black, Angry Smurf, The R.C. Kroger, Karima Khadija, Savannah Rivers Amore, Lamont Simpson, June BLC, Randall Brown, House of Sir James, and all the rest of you. If I forgot, please don't take it personal. Just charge it to my head, not my heart. All of my lovely subscribers, I do appreciate you for keeping this channel going and growing. That's right. Thank you, thank you. Now I got all that out of the way. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I got all of that out of the way. Let's get down to this review. We start off where we left off. Priscilla walked right in on Sam getting all groped up by the first lady. Looked like about to get some action on. And, you know, if I would have wrote this scene, I would have had some violence going on. I wanted Priscilla to leap from the front of the door, leap right into the middle of the room and just jump on. I wanted some wrestling and some tussling, some dramatics, but that's not what we got. But we did get a cool little cold ice stare down, and, you know, Priscilla and Victoria throwing this little banter at each other. So we could deal with that. We could do it. But then Priscilla left. She played it cool. No violence. She played it cool. Sam looking like a deer in the headlights. He all nervous. And Sam said to her, to the first lady, he said, you set that up. You set that up. And she's like, whatever. And, you know, and he's like, listen, I'm getting off your detail. And she's like, all for her? You love her that much? He was like, yes, I love her. And she said, well, you wasn't loving her when you was back, blowing that back out. That's what she told him. She said, you know how I do. I paraphrase. But, you know, that's what she basically said. She said, it wasn't like that when you was in that room when you was taking care of business then. He said, listen, I'm getting off your detail. And she told him, no, you're not. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am, bro? I'm the first lady. You ain't getting off nothing. You staying right here. She said, you know, I'm just like I'm cutthroat like my daddy. And I get what I want. And I got you before, I'm going to get you again. But he said, you know what? I don't have to work. He said, if you won't get me off this detail, I'm going to go work somewhere else. I'll leave the White House. She looked so distraught when he said that. But it just irks me the way the president and the first lady speaks to people. It just irks me. But, you know, that was, and she said, you know, all that, you know, you can for your wife. That part made me laugh. She said, you wasn't saying that when I was backing it up and you was all up in it. You caught him at a weak moment. That's what you did. So meanwhile, later in that episode, he runs to Priscilla. He's like, Priscilla, it was a setup. And she said, this hoe always setting you up, bro. What's the problem? She said, she's always setting you up. What is the problem? She said, aren't you trained for this? If you know you're being set up, why you keep putting yourself in that situation? And he was explaining himself, baby, please, oh, baby. And then she said to him, she said, why don't you just, if this chick is harassing you, listen, press charges. Say that you're being harassed by the first lady. He said to her, he said, listen, Sam said, nah, I can't do that because I'm going to look like a weak person. And she said, oh, this is what this is about. So once he said he didn't want to look weak and that incident that happened won't happen again, and he was going to get off the details, she said, you know what? Screw all this, because I got somebody that's checking for me. She's talking about Bobby. Because remember, last week, Bobby was flirting with her in the last episode, and she was digging it. She said, you know what? Since we're in an open marriage, like Monique and her husband, she didn't say that part, but y'all know Monique, the comedian, is in an open marriage. She said, since you're in an open marriage, I'm going to go on and slide on over here with bro. And he's like, listen, don't play those games like that with me. Don't do that. And I thought that was hilarious. He's like, don't play no games. And later in the episode, we see when Max goes to be relieved to go to the bathroom, and Bobby takes his post. Who walks up on Bobby but Priscilla? And she's like, yeah, you want to take me out to dinner? He's like, oh, what about your husband? She's like, screw him. And who walks right up on top of that and sees that? But Sam. And again, this was a good opportunity for like a fight right here. Sam should have just walked up and punched him right in the face or something. Give me some bam, 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 bam. I want some action. But we didn't get that. But we did get a conversation where Sam was like, what's going on here? Bobby was like, nothing. He said, I know you lying. He said, I'm not lying. He said, well, I'm telling you right now, don't try nothing with her. Don't do nothing. I know your reputation, Dirty D. Did he call him Dirty D? Dirty D, Bobby? So that sounds like you giving out diseases. Did he call him Dirty D? Y'all, tell me in the comment section. Is that what he said? You got Dirty D? But he said, basically, you a hoe and you have this reputation of being a hoe. And so I need you to stay away from my woman. That's what you need to do. But there's no, I don't get what's going on with Bobby at all, because he's like down to going out with her, and he said, that he's horny and he gonna take her out and all this, and because when Max was asking him these questions, Max was like, yo, what's wrong with you? You can't go out with her. Are you stupid? That doesn't make any sense. And he's like, listen, she asked me out. I'm horny and I want to get some. That's what it is. He said, is this because you're not over Lily? You're mad with Lily, right? Is that what this is about? He was like, no, I'm just horny. I was like, this is crazy. That whole thing is crazy. And it's kind of low class. And I hope that nothing happens in that situation. I really do. I hope really nothing happens with that. I hope that Priscilla doesn't spread an eagle for him. I just hope that doesn't happen. So anyway, let's talk about Kareem and Dale. Let's talk about the pharmacy. So at Kareem's pharmacy, Dale and what's her name, Sharon, are there, and in walks the soldier, and I'm like, ain't that the Ragadushi dude? And he comes in, he picks up a prescription, and Sharon and Dale just got to finish talking about how they haven't seen Bobby. I mean, they haven't seen Barry, and they don't know where Barry is, and Barry hasn't called her. She's worried about Barry. And in walks Ragadushi dude, and he's looking at Dell. He's like, don't I know you? He's like, I don't think so. Yeah, from that supermarket in Virginia. He said, now, this is some good memory right here. And he said, yeah. He said, well, can I talk to you privately? And Dell is like, no, you could say it right here because I'm going to tell her anyway. He said, well, didn't you want to sleep with me? Didn't you want to have sex with me? I'm like, what is this? Tyler, there's writing. What's going on here? Who speaks like that? Didn't you want to have sex with me? Well, you need to come on down to Raku. And I'm saying, well, why would he need to come down to Raku? This is the Ragadushi. The Raku could help you. I was like, oh, Lord, what is this? I don't watch that show, but he says something like, because down at Ragadushiville, or whatever, where the Ragu's at, there is no male and female. I was like, what in the hell is he talking about? What is all? But he said they could fix you. So are we fixing him not by making him no longer be homosexual? Or I didn't understand that part. Y'all fill me in down below. What did he mean by that? Well, they could fix you with there's no man or no male or female. Something he said, and I was like, okay. So that was just a weird scene. And he was like, and bless you, sister. And he was like, I believe you'll come around to Ragadushi land. You will. And Dell was like, he's like, bless you. And Dell was like, all right, brother. Right on, brother. I don't know what that was about. And even Dell said, I don't know what that was about. And Sharon looked at him like, yeah, what was that about? We also saw in this episode Raccoon Eyes, Jason, because now it's looking like Raccoon Eyes. The makeup department has put on Jason's eyes to make it look like he's been attacked. He's having beer and pizza with Alan. And I said, maybe Alan is trying to get him drunk, or maybe Alan, get him drunk or whatever so he could pass out or whatever. And he's just steady throwing the beer back. And he's got the gun all in. I'm like, dude, he got the gun waving it all in Alan's face. And Alan's like, listen, what is your game plan? He's like, well, my game plan, I think, you know what? I don't really have one. I think I'm going to stay here with you for a while. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And Alan tried to say to him, listen, I can get Priscilla to help us. Priscilla can help us. He's like, no, that's not going to happen. Again, crazy Jason is waving the gun all in Alan's face. And I thought all of that was just crazy. He said, listen, that's not happening. We're not dealing with that. But that's not going to happen. I'm not having that at all. So I'm like, okay, interesting stuff there. Then we move on down to Sam having a conversation with the agent who is the reason that Crazy Jason has gotten away. Because I don't know what kind of agent you are, that you deal with all this. You out in the forest and you dealing in cabins. And you let this little boy drug you. You're not, these are some halfway trained agents. Listen, our country is doomed. If our country would be doomed if this is what we had to rely on. These agents are terrible. You let this little boy drug you. Come on, what's going on here? So anyway, he's telling him that he's going to track the truck down and all this other stuff. And, there's an agent over Sam just watching everything, Sam shoot him off. And Sam said, listen, you got to find him. He said, and by the way, I may need you to break a brother's legs, talking about Bobby. He said, just in case he shows up at this restaurant, because Sam knows that Bobby plans on going to the restaurant with Priscilla. Now, see, I like that scene. And I like what he said, just in case we have to break some legs. Tyler, I know this stuff is already recorded. I'm hoping, Mr. Perry, that you have written that in next week's episode. So if Priscilla is at the restaurant with Bobby, let that agent coming in, let there be a fight right there in the restaurant, throwing tables, throwing chairs, flipping tables over. Let's get some action up in here. Let's make this fun. Let's make it fun. So with that being said, let's move on down to Lily, who's in the hospital pretending that her name is Debbie somebody. And she's like trying to tell the doctor that this gun wound, you're not too bright, Lily. I know you're trying to hide your identity. I'm surprised why no one recognizes you. You working, you kind of profile, right? But whatever. I thought she would be a public figure that someone should recognize her. The doctor don't know her, but you have a gun wound, and she's telling him she got this wound, which is circular, looks like a bullet wound. You're telling him you got it from throwing knives because you're a professional knife thrower in the circus. So this causes homeboy to get the police involved. And I'm like, what is that, Lily? That was just so crazy. That was absolutely crazy to me. Then we move on down to the vice president and his wife, Simone. And he goes in there and he asks Simone, he said, did you reach out to my people? She said, yeah. He said, you don't believe me, baby? We're going to get in control of all these things, but you got to listen to me. You make me look weak when you do stuff like this. I said, oh, we hearing weak twice tonight. First, with Sam telling Priscilla he would look weak if he said that he would look like a weak agent. I mean, all your agents are weak in there anyway, so what's the difference? But he said, I would look like a weak agent if I said I was being harassed by the first lady. I can handle her. And now here we have the vice president saying he's looking weak. because his wife is reaching out to contacts. And then he said, I'm gonna go whatever in the next room. She said, you're not gonna take a bath with me? He said, I'm really tired. Then homeboy goes in the room, closes the door, calls the first lady, Victoria, and it's like, oh yeah, she did call him, but I got that under control. And he's like, well, what are you doing? She seems like she's annoyed, like whatever, because she seems like she wants Sam. First lady wants Sam. So he's like, you playing with yourself, let me see. So now they phone, boning, FaceTime, and he's whacking on. Oh my goodness. I was like, this is crazy. And I wanted his wife to walk in and like, honey, what are you doing? But they didn't do that with that scene. Now we get down to the good part, the really interesting part. Kareem calls his cousin Antoine, or Antone, who's from the streets. And it cracks me up every time Tyler writes someone from the streets. They always have this stereotypical, yo, it's hot, yo, the streets somebody might be following me. He kind of was doing a little too much, over thugging it for me. I'm like, it was a little too much, but it made me laugh because he was like, what do you mean? And so what he tells him that Kareem tells him, listen, Sharon's boyfriend is in my bed back there dead. Somebody put him here. They trying to frame me. He's like, what? Are you crazy? And he says, call the cops. He said, I can't call the cops because my cousin, talking about you, my thugged out cousin, is running drugs through the pharmacy. And I said, aha, we have something that connected to earlier seasons. Because do y'all remember a few seasons back, there was a storyline where someone had mentioned that, was it Barry that had mentioned that? Well, someone had mentioned that, saying that Kareem was dirty, that there was drugs in his pharmacy, and it turns out to be true. Kareem is letting his cousin run drugs through. And I was looking, saying, he do have a nice apartment. That's a really nice apartment that Kareem has, because his drug money is helping pay for that. So now cousin Tone goes back there and sees the body and said, that's a big dude. Now, I'm sorry, I don't remember Barry being so big. So he's like, oh, this is a big dude. I'm like, is he? Is he that big? He didn't seem that big. I don't know, maybe. So he's like, this is a big dude. So he says, we're going to have to chop him up. You're going to have to chop him up in pieces. I said, oh, Lord, they're going to do him like Denise's pieces. They got to chop him up in pieces and put him in a suitcase, 2 suitcases, because this is how big Barry is. And I'm not liking this storyline because I wanted Barry to find his daughter. You know how Barry in every episode, where's my daughter? Remember that first season? He wanted to find. Poor Barry can't find his daughter. Why we ain't hear nothing from, Lord have mercy, his mama, Miss Nancy? I guess we gonna find, what the ragadoo she do to her? Is she over there still? This is a mess. The ragadoo, she's just doing a number on poor Barry. They took his daughter, his baby mama's over there, his mother's over there, they done killed him, because I guess it's the ragadooshi that killed him, right? So that's what he's telling him, and he's like, listen, I'm not about, Kareem says to his cousin, you're the thug. I ain't about that life. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if I could do that. So that was that. Then we go back to Lily at the hospital. Deborah, that's what she's calling herself, and the police are questioning her, and they tell her, listen, you need to tell me what happened. Is your husband abusing you? She says, no. He says, well, you got to tell me something. She said, I ain't got to tell you nothing. He said, well, we're going to have to detain you. You're detaining her? He's like, that's it. And that's where the episode ended. So it was interesting. I'm just curious what I want to know, what I want the focus to be on. What do y'all think? I want to know who killed Barry, why they put him in Kareem's house. Also, I want to know, another question, going back to that Ragadooshi dude, why he telling Dell you would be a great asset to the farm, to the Ragadooshis, because we could get drugs from you. That's illegal. And you saying that out loud. I was like, that's interesting. But you came in here with a prescription, so y'all do know how to get prescriptions. So why would you need him to get you drugs illegally? Whatever. So that was that. And I want to know what's going on with that. I want to know how they're going to handle this situation with Crazy Jason. What's going to happen with that? So much going on. Will Priscilla and Barry end up together? I mean, I keep saying Barry. Will Priscilla and Bobby end up together? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Very interesting stuff. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. Tell me your thoughts on this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.